Dude, can I crash at your place tonight?
You know, I have a nightly rental for that.
That's what we're talking about today.
Welcome to the Utah Real Estate Show podcast, the show where two agents and a lender help buyers, sellers, and real estate professionals to understand the ins and outs of real estate.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Utah Real Estate Show. I am Tyler Kazare, Utah Real Estate Agent.
Jason Christiansen, mortgage lender.
Eric Wist, Utah Real Estate Agent.
And tonight we've got a special guest.
Kirt Forakis, business owner and entrepreneur.
Kirt is a close friend. I've known him for years. He's awesome at what he does. Tonight we're talking about Airbnb and the reason.
Rentals.
Yeah, short-term rentals. The reason we have Kirt here is because he's really good at the Airbnb game.
He's a pro.
We're gonna let him tell his own story. So tell us how you got into. Give us a little bit of backstory on who you are and why Airbnb.
So since I was young, knew I was going to be an entrepreneur, business owner. In fact, even in high school, I knew I'd want to invent things. I currently own a patent. I also worked at Zermatt Resort as a revenue manager and marketing manager, and that's kind of where I got my initial start into the short term. But since I've done my other businesses, we've done the short term personally on a business level as of the last 2 years, and it's been very successful, more so than some of my other businesses even.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Nice. So we should say this is going to be a two-part series, right? So this week we're talking about finding and sort of outfitting your Airbnb property, short-term rental property. Yep. And then next week we're going to be talking about how you manage that property.
Right.
Okay. So you got into the short-term rental game. You were a long-term renter, a landlord. How did you make the change into short-term rentals?
So the change came about with the desire to make a higher ROI, basically in a nutshell.
Return on investment.
Correct. Return on investment. So long-term, you're comfortable. You find a tenant. You sign a contract. You're good for usually a year longer. Short-term, you have the potential to make a lot more, but there's definitely a lot more risk associated with it. But once you get comfortable and get yourself over those risks, they're well worth it.
It's a very good point. So let's begin with some of the different types of. There's really two types of Airbnb, right? You've got room share, and then you've got like full blown.
Well, you got like three. You have really
a lot
room
more
share, like
that was
inside your home.
Correct.
Right. And then you have owner occupied Airbnb.
So like your basement.
This is your basement.
Mother-in-law apartment, something like that. And then you're buying a complete standalone unit as its only intention is for nightly rentals.
Yes.
Correct.
So what we're going to talk about is going to be relevant to all three of those, but kind of in my mind, like I'm thinking of an investment property Airbnb. Like that's just how my mind works. So if you ever catch me like running off and it's not really relevant, it's because I'm thinking about investment property. So let's talk about really how, if you're going into an investment property, we got to talk to a lender.
Okay, yeah. So there's a couple different ways to look at this too, because you can buy an owner-occupied property or your existing home and decide, hey, we can convert the spare bedroom into nightly rentals and not just when family comes over to stay. Yeah. Then you got to look at like the personal risk. Do you have kids? Who are you going to rent to? Vandalism, stuff like that, right? Okay. And then you could partition off a part of your home and still be owner occupied. And both of these loans you're going to qualify for on your own. These are not income properties until you have a legal duplex, not a legal accessory apartment, a legal duplex or a standalone property that you're buying as an investment property. And then the rules change. So easier to get owner occupied, harder to get investment. But typically if you've got 25% down for the investment, you can qualify for the payment because you can count that income.
And that's one of the biggest differences is that down payment. Like how much do I need?
Even for a nightly rental thing, you still got to talk to a lender first.
Yes. Go talk to your lender.
You still should.
It's good. You know what? Just go talk to your lender. Even if you're not planning to buy a house or anything, you go talk to a lender right now. Go talk to Jason.
Say hi.
Yeah,
just call
how's it going? What'd you have for dinner?
That kind of thing. Exactly. All right. So let's talk about finding that property then. The biggest thing, and I hear all the Airbnb guys talking about it, it's convenience. Like, how convenient is your property? And that doesn't mean just like you've got a coffee machine.
Well, because that's different from a long-term rental.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's not necessarily 100% convenience, where short-term is more almost like hotel type stuff. Like you're trying to get. So I mean,
close to the freeway, close to the attraction.
What are some of the things that you look into? Kurt,
all
when you're
that
looking at your stuff.
So with the convenient factor, one of the first ones close to the freeway, like you've already mentioned.
Right.
The next one is I like to be close to a convenience store. So I want to have a Walmart or a Smith's or a Costco or something close by, so that when they first get there, they can go and get some of the supplies. Because one of the big beauties of a short-term rental is they usually have a kitchen.
Yeah.
So you can go over and grab your groceries, bring it back home, put it in your fridge, get out your frying pan, you can cook yourself a meal. So I like to be close to a store for those reasons. Also restaurants. So as long as you're in a nice area like that, you're usually pretty good with convenience.
Nice.
Okay, so then you have convenience checked off. That marks one box. What's another one? I mean, do you guys look at, I would assume just like real estate, your CC&Rs, your HOAs, your city codes,
Those don't matter at all when it comes to short-term rental, right?
A perfectly convenient spot could be a nightmare if it's an HOA.
Yeah.
Yes. That becomes more of a risk. And so the two are almost different. You got your convenience factor. We also have your risk assessment.
Okay.
It's good. And so let's talk about some of those risks. An HOA could shut you down cold.
Yep.
Like city allows it, our HOA doesn't. So too bad.
And even if you're in an HOA that allows it, you can get a notice within a week, a month that they no longer allow it.
We've updated our covenants, conditions, and restrictions.
Or I love this. I heard this story recently that we will allow it, but you owe us 50% of the cut.
Yeah, we will manage it.
Yeah, we'll manage it for you.
40%, but it's still
like,
pretty high.
Isn't that like
that's like mob. Yeah, it sounds like the mob.
Is that
Pay us for the protection.
New age mafia is an HOA?
Apparently.
But at the same time, HOA can be good though.
Well, yeah, because you do have an association of Karens. Sorry, Karen. That are watching your property. So if they like you, they're going to report the everything. Well, they'll report the everything anyway, but it could serve you.
I mean, I stayed at one that, the community had a pool, had a hot tub. Yep. I mean, it was a development that had it all set up. So, I mean, that you were able to benefit from that.
Yes. Yeah, so there are HOAs that are actually turned resort for short-term rentals. We know of a couple up in Bear Lake, for example, that are the HOA is the management operation for the entire collection of short-term rentals.
Which again, talk to your lender, because that could kill the deal.
Yes.
Make it a very attractive offer that you obtain financing for another way.
Yes, another way. That's a very good way to put that. Okay. So we've talked about the convenience factor. We've talked about making sure that you're compliant. Oh no! Well, we already talked about other things. So the HOA is what we talked about. Mm-hmm. Your city could shut you down.
City could shut you
down. There's
or they could just tax you at a higher rate.
Yes. Yeah. And so those kind of things can be bad. That's your legal compliance. This is part of your due diligence. If you're buying a property, this is part of your due diligence.
Before you look at it, ask.
Yeah, figure out.
This is a business. This isn't just hey, let's just try to do this. I mean, you're a business guy. You put together a business plan, how you're going to do this, where your dollars are going to be, where's your risk going to be, where's everything going to be at, and are you okay with doing that risk?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, that all falls in that risk assessment. Basically, you're kind of finding that line of what you're comfortable with and what you're not. The more you're willing to push it, sometimes the ROI goes higher, but not always. You gotta be careful. For example, we had thought about a hot tub, and we put the kibosh on that real quick.
Didn't work out for your business every night.
It just didn't work out.
Yes. Okay, so more comparison on these things. Like, there's different ways to compare things, but you can get right on Airbnb and see in your neighborhood, the neighborhood you're looking at, what are the rentals going for right now?
Yeah.
And the right way, this is a very real estate agent mentality of thinking of things. Break it down by square footage and cost per night. And you will very quickly find a range that every Airbnb in this area is going for. Yeah. And if you can't make your Airbnb do that, pull the ripcord, get out.
And toss out. I like to tell people, you build in a cushion. Because there is something that you just don't know about. You've talked to everybody, and you're not going to know until it's there. And if that's not built in, you're going to be hating stuff.
Kurt, you're making your $1 billion a month right now in rentals. Now, I'm assuming you did that from the day one you started.
Right,
First day, right?
Yeah. I just hit the ground running, and almost we had to go backwards from there. No, you start a little bit lower and you build yourself up. The more amenities you have, the more reviews you have, if you hit superhost status, all of those things will help you to slowly increase your rates.
And Eric mentioned this earlier, like build a business plan, have a plan. Like you're a business owner.
Yes.
You built business plans for all of these different things. Airbnb is just one of those things.
Correct.
So if you're sitting at home right now and it strikes you that, this is the first business plan you've ever had, go Google business plan and it will serve you very well.
And come talk to a lender and a real estate agent, and we can help you point in the right direction. Maybe we put you in touch with Kirt. He says, oh yeah, here's this, we can do that. Hey, I can even help you manage your property if you want to for this point, because there's all those different things. The biggest thing I see when a part of that risk management we talked about is long-term versus short-term is if you're not a people person, nightly rentals could be very difficult because you have to be engaged.
Yes.
You got to communicate.
Customer service goes a long ways with the Airbnb community.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so either you're doing it or you're paying a property manager. Now, a property manager for long-term, 8-10%. Property manager for a nightly rental, 30-40%.
You can get that.
A lot more.
I mean, so
it can be big.
Because it's more work.
So, but that's part of your business plan. Like if you are going into the business plan, eyes wide open, and you realize, oh yes, this is part of cost of doing business, you're not going to list your nightly rental for $30 a night. Like you're going to put it in at a rate that makes sense for you and for your property manager if you choose to have one.
Right.
And to be able to accommodate the other, like we didn't really talk about how you built out your house.
Right.
What kind of stuff did you do to your house to make it convenient for your Airbnbers?
A few things. Obviously, one of the first ones, we did a remodel and we upgraded the paint, the flooring, the cabinets, and basically just made a good, even long-term rental, you do a lot of those things as well. You just make that really presentable, homey, willing to live in. And
durable.
Durable, yes. That's one of the reasons I like tile. I pull carpet and I put tile down. It's one of the first things I like to do. But after you do just even preparation for long-term rental, your next step then is furnish and decor and your amenities with that as well. So you've got your couches, your TVs, your picture frames, your cookware. I even threw a barbecue grill on the outside of my unit, so they have an extra barbecue if they want to barbecue in the summertime. So you have your plates, and you just have all those little things that you think about that you need as a short-term or long-term renter.
Yeah, this is going to be furnished.
In there.
That's the way to think about it, because a lot of times long-term renters are like, or a long-term landlord is like, well, you furnish your own place.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
You are furnishing everything, the house, obviously the house, but the furniture, all of the cookware and the silverware and the plates and
decorations, plants.
Decorations, plants,
games.
Yeah, we've got Monopoly and games down there. Potential subscriptions. I provide Netflix on all the TVs downstairs, so I log in and they have something to watch when they show up without needing an account.
Nice.
Oh, that's very good. Yeah, that's very thoughtful. That's convenient.
Convenience.
For
your
rental.
Dollar signs.
Yeah, convenience equals dollar signs. So if you really want to do this well, think about your person who's coming into this place. Everything they might think of, have an answer for them right away, and you will capitalize on that expectation.
Exactly.
Well, and then so make sure everything's good on the inside, but make sure things are good on the outside. Like how close can these people park? What's their vehicle going to be exposed to overnight?
Yeah.
Yep. Are your sprinklers going to be drenching their Mercedes that's sitting in your driveway?
With pressurized irrigation.
And all of those things can either lead to a good review, or a bad review. And in the short-term rental game, reviews are everything.
Yes, that's a big deal.
They're king.
Now that might be a good place to stop. Actually, we can wrap it up right here, guys.
That is
the teaser of reviews. We're going to talk more about reviews next week when we talk about managing an Airbnb property.
So, what'd you learn?
Man, I learned risk management. You have to decide how much risk are you willing to take before you're moving forward in a short-term rental game.
Well, my key takeaway is that you have to communicate. If you are communicating well, meaning your renter sends you a message and you respond immediately, you will capitalize on that immediate conversation.
Yes, communication is actually one of the bigger things on the B&B platform. They time you on your response, and if you are if you're more than 24 hours, they zing you.
Ouch. Oh, that's no bueno.
It's important to remember to have a plan and plan on a little bit of a cushion.
Yes. Yes, cushions for sure.
All right, we'll see you guys next week.
If you like nightly rentals, comment, like, and subscribe.
If you want to get in touch with us, shoot us a text at 801-228-7687. Make sure you mention the show. You can email us at theutahrealestateshow@gmail.com. The Utah Real Estate Show is a production of Hive Collective at Presidio Real Estate with support from Security Home Mortgage. Security Home Mortgage NMLS number is 178787. Jason Christiansen NMLS number is 240472. Equal housing lender. Not only is this not legal or investment advice, but you should definitely talk to a pro before you make any real estate decision. Every situation is different and should be considered in context. Copyright Jason Christiansen, Eric Wist, and Tyler Kazare. All rights reserved.
With your dude, I've been
Look, you sweetheart. You're like a girl. You're like a little girl.
I like
the movie.
Always waiting on you. I get comments.
Actually, you were talking about myself.
Why is he wearing a scarf in the summer?
So why doesn't he just grow one?
He can't.
I think he could.
It's his cloth beard.
It's the cloth.
It's amazing how your beard is
my
as
pirate
big as
name.
his scarf.
My pirate name would be Clothbeard.
Cloth.
That's my pirate name from now on. I'm going to wear an eye patch and be Clothbeard. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Utah Real Estate Show. I'm Clothbeard, Utah Real Estate Agent. There you go. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Utah Real Estate Show.
I wasn't ready.
Why are you not ready? You did the marker.
And then I.
Okay, look in camera. Look. That's with the Tyler. Okay, one with it. And we're going to go right into